Testing, 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 testing. Audio. Okay. I think we got this working now. I forgot to turn the audio on, but it shows. So hopefully you can hear me okay now. Oh man, and I was just saying that this was going to be a rough stream, but hey, look, it's better than no stream at all, I guess, right? Either way, what I was saying is this is an old design that I did, that I engraved, last week or something. I'm going to start off by showing you guys a quick trick. Then we're going to be doing a two-pass method on a present box, like a lid. It's a design for like a lid for a present. You'll see what I mean here in a couple minutes. First of all, though, I'm using a super heavy grit. I don't even know what grit this is. What does that say? I think it says 40. And then I'm using this one. This is a little bit higher grit. And I don't know. Again, I'm not sure what this one is either. I think it's like 150. And then this one is super light grit, which is like 320. I think it's a 320 grit, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so basically, I'm trying to decide if I should turn the sound down or something. You guys are just going to have to live with this. I'm going to go outside right here a little ways so that you don't hear it too much. But I'm going to switch over to the heavy grit. That's the heaviest grit I got. It's like a 40. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to sand off the old engraving. As long as you're using real wood, it's a little bit thicker and everything like that, you can literally just sand off the engraving. That if it came out bad or if you just don't want it anymore or whatever, you can actually just sand it off. It doesn't take that much time. I'm going to show you really quick. And you can see, take a look again, see how dark this is? It's a very dark engraving. Make sure you can see it good. There you go. You can see it's very dark engraving. Okay, so watch, I'm going to sand this off. Alright, there you go. So I sanded off with a really heavy grit till there's nothing you can see on it already, but it's very rough. So now we're going to switch to the 150 grit. Alright, it's already looking, kind of hard to tell, but it's already looking really smooth and nice. But let's go ahead and hit it with the 320 grit now. Again, this is super fine sandpaper, 320 grit. That's what I'm using for the final. I use 3 different sandpapers when I'm sanding. Alright. Now it's kind of hard to tell, but you know, it's so smooth it shines. And that only took just a couple minutes with this piece. Now this piece is bigger. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do this engraving and then I'm going to cut it out. So I'm using a piece that's definitely bigger to help with not having to worry about the centering too much on the diode. Okay, let's see. Make the screen smaller. Sorry, you're gonna have to work with me because I'm just doing this by myself. Yeah, trying to do the cameraman stuff and everything. I don't really know too much about the video editing and everything like that. I'm way more into you know, creating stuff. And video editing's a whole nother deal. I do programming and stuff like that, fine, but yeah, my video editing is lacking. Let's see what we can do here to get a good view. Go ahead and load it up. Alright, let's see if I can't. What I'm going to do is I'm going to switch one of the screens here with my light burn screen really quick, and that way you can see what's going on in light burn. Oh man, I'm not sure if you're able to hear this fan probably in the background too. Sorry guys. Sorry. I'm not a DJ here. Yep, that's probably gonna help. Alright, so I am I'm just going to go ahead and open up the file and we're going to get started. When I get a file open, I'm going to go down to Lightburn files and I'm going to go to all supported. And first we're going to do the grayscale, the dithered, I mean. This one's, if I zoom in here, you can see this is dithered already. So since it's already dithered, what we're going to do here is we're going to go to do our settings. I'm going to do 60 speed, max power. I'm going to do probably, let's see, maybe 15. I'm going to click pass through off and then turn it back on just to make sure. You should see everything grayed out when you do that. I'm using an old version of Lightburn, so the new version of Lightburn might not do that anymore. But if you're using a little bit older version, sometimes you have to click pass through and then click it again just to make sure everything's grayed out. It should work as long as it's on, but just to make sure 100%. Now we're not going to run a scan angle of 90, we're going to be running a scan angle of 0 or 180. Those are your two options with the vast majority of diodes. I'm also going to select my laser. Alright. You can see I have a knob on top. I don't know. Let me see if you can tell. You might not be able to tell from this picture, but right up here, let me show you. I have a knob on the back right here that I adjust. I bought this, I think it was, I don't even know, probably $50 or something like that. And I'm able to adjust this knob instead of the knob that's on the side over there. And I do that because it's easier to work with and more consistent and allows for more flexibility. I'll fix this real quick. Again, I'm sorry. I know the videos will be bad. I mean, miniaturize this part at least. But you guys can see this. I can't really tell what I'm looking at though then. I promise I'll have a better camera setup soon. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Sorry for background noise. Alright. Because of the fact that I'm using material that's bigger, this is only going to be 4 inches by 4 inches, and this piece of material is like 4.5 inches by 5.5. So I don't need to get it centered perfectly, because I'll just cut it out on the saw afterwards. All of the settings look good and everything, so I'll probably just go ahead and start it here. Double check everything. Yeah, I think we're good enough to go ahead and start engraving this first pass. Okay, so again, this is just going to be the first pass. And I'm going to go ahead and switch off of the light burn screen here and switch it back to the other camera, I think. Alright, there we go. Sound, let me see the sound. I guess everything's okay now. Let me adjust. Alright, there we go. So, it's running right now. Let me see, make sure the audio or the video focus is good so everybody can see as best as possible. What a disaster. I'm sorry, guys. Alright, so... let's see. It's not looking bad, but maybe I should open up the garage some more to get a little bit more light in here. I'll get everything looking nice over Christmas break. I need to move the camera way back here. That'll be fine. I'm actually going to probably switch the cameras around because I can't do autofocus with this inside Logitech at the same time. Okay, really quick, last change that. Come over here. Almost got it. Okay, cool. I know, a lot of goofing around here. I think this will be our best solution for right now. I can't tell how good you guys are able to hear me or what all this microphone's picking up, so I hope it's okay. So I am going to do this as a 2-pass, so this first pass will look decent and it's usable as a dither, but I'm going to do a second pass in grayscale that's only going to do a little bit of the shading and the details, and I'm going to turn up the power a little bit and make a couple little tweaks and run it as a grayscale. And what that'll do is it'll just add darkness details to certain areas and a little bit of extra shading to other areas. Now you can see this is only probably about a third of the way done, so it'll be a little while. Sorry guys, I'll turn that on. I'll just turn up the volume to talk every once in a while because the neighborhood has got people doing all kinds of crap. See if I can get the video quality up any better. I'm going to try to adjust the video quality a little bit to see if I can get it any better than what it is. The resolution kind of sucks. It's another thing I'm trying to deal with. Tell me if you can hear me. Pens, I see your back. Let me know if you can hear me. I'm going to try to adjust the video quality a little bit to see if I can get it any better than what it is. The resolution kind of sucks. It's another thing I'm trying to deal with. Tell me if you can hear me. Pens, I see your back. Let me know if you can hear me. I'm going to try to adjust the video. Testing. Are you able to hear me okay? The resolution kind of sucks. It's another thing I'm trying to deal with. Tell me if you can hear me. Pens, I see your back. Let me know if you can hear me. I'm going to try to testing. Okay, well, I'll just turn the volume up again. Hopefully you can hear me. Yeah. Like I said, the neighborhood's going a little crazy, so I'll just try to turn the audio down so things get out of control out here. Okay, well, I'll just turn the volume all the way. Okay, I have the volume turned all the way up for right now, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. The audio down. Audio output on the. Oh, that's probably from this station. Okay, there. Now let me know if you can hear okay. Okay, cool. I have things set up kind of crazy, and I'm using OBS. You had asked. I'm just using OBS software to do the video. It doesn't really, there's not too much you can do with it, but it works good for recording and streaming. I think the full version, this one is just the one off Steam. I think it's a freeware version, and yeah, I'm sure there's more features in the full version. Oh yeah, we're going to see it comes out if I can increase the resolution, or at least make it a little bit bigger here. Alright, and then in the corner I'll throw up, let's see what I got here, I'll throw the image, Okay, so this is the image that I'm using. This is the design I'm using, and like I said, after it does this in a dither pass right now, it's dithering it at 282 cassia in ImageR, and after I do that, then I'm going to add another pass. That'll be just a grayscale pass with just the details and a little bit of shading. And that's just going to be to add more contrast, more darkening to it. Oh, for the software, it's just OGS. Yeah, I highly recommend OBS. It's what most people use. There's other options, but it's what most people use. A lot of gamers use it to stream their videos when they're playing games and have multiple cameras and stuff like that. And it just works. It works pretty easily. And the free version, like this is a free version, and you can see, like, I mean, it does pretty much as far as streaming and engraving. It's working fine. You can do higher resolutions, which is awesome. You could pretty much do most of the stuff for free without even having to get the full version. Although, like I said, I'm pretty sure the full version does some other cool stuff. Again, the extra, purposely using a bigger piece of material so I didn't have to try to center it perfectly. This way I can just simply cut out on my saw, I can cut out around it. Also, you can use your laser and burn through the wood to cut out around it too, but I'm using real wood and it's thicker. I'm not using any type of a plywood or anything. You can see it's, I don't know how, it's probably 3/4 inch thick or something like that, so I'm going to use a saw. I'm not going to try to laser through it. Does this feel better, Pen, with me being able to talk and stream? I got a couple cameras set up in here too, but one of the cameras is just movable right now, and it just falls all over the place. I'm going to use the Velcro spots next, and I'm going to have different camera areas where I can just Velcro the camera to certain areas in the room for my my shop camera, basically. And then the other camera I have will just always be on the lasers like this. I know on YouTube the quality kind of stinks because it is compressing the video a little bit, so you can't see the details as good, but hopefully you'll be able to see something that looks pretty decent once the second pass is run. A lot of people don't like woods that have like where you can see the veins or the streaks that go through the wood, the wood grain. But I like the wood grain. It makes it feel like each piece is unique, you know. Even if you end up engraving the same piece 4 times, each one has got a little uniqueness to it. Although me personally, I hate engraving the same thing twice. I don't think I've ever done that except for specific jobs where, like little production jobs where they wanted 50 of the same thing or whatever. Oh, good. I'm glad it's much better. Good. This is one of the hardest problems I have is you're just trying to get good video, get a nice studio set up and have good video taken and everything like that. I struggle with that part because it takes up a lot of time, and I'm already spending most of my time trying to get better at designing and, you know, especially designing for engraving specifically. Also, I'm going to be adding a little bit of sublimation, because my wife does sublimation, and I'm going to just go ahead and give it a try, just adding a couple nice sublimation designs in the future. Yeah, for sure. The grain, I love the grain. I honestly, I'm 100% with the grain. Like, I actually just don't even like using wood that doesn't have grain, because it doesn't feel like, it feels more like you're printing something. If you use some type of evenly, like a Baltic birch or something like that, something that doesn't really have a lot of grain and cherries and stuff like that. Any of those, I hate using those because it just doesn't feel, it feels more printed than it does engraved when you do that. Especially the people that, I've seen people recently that were probably putting whatever chemical on paper and then just engraving the paper. I'm like, we have printers, but why would you do that? Like, we have printers, we have laser printers already. It's just so ridiculous. It's completely absurd to me. I mean, to each his own. This is looking pretty nice. Like I said, it's going to look nice just being bigger, but if you really want to get that extra contrast in there, because each wood will show a different amount of contrast and it hit a different amount of darkness. Once you hit a certain amount of darkness, what happens is you'll start digging into the wood. Instead of it getting darker, the wood getting darker, it'll start pushing the wood, and you'll be able to feel it too. If the engraving doesn't feel completely smooth after it's done, and you can feel like little notches in the wood in the darker areas, that means you're using too much power, or your DPI was too high, or for whatever reason you overburned, and it just started digging into the wood. Instead of hitting the highest dark point as possible, it started digging into the wood. That's what happened there. So you don't want to do that unless you're doing that for a specific reason, like you're trying to do a depth piece in wood or something like that. You're not going to want to do that. You always want to engrave just to the point where it almost starts digging into the wood, but it doesn't. And depending on the wood, it'll dig easier. It's hard to keep up with all the changes. I have two 3D printers, a 50-watt fiber, a 30-watt diode, an 80-watt CO2, and a 5-watt UV. Being retired and having time, I like to play. Yeah, that's awesome. But yeah, I'm sure you feel the pain of trying to, get to a professional level with them, because you're using so many different machines that it's really hard to like focus in and get the highest quality. And you know, just get enough experience when you're using so many different machines all the time. I actually have I really want to get my 3D printer going again, and I also have a CNC sitting over here. I don't have my shop camera on right now, so I can't show you that, but yeah, so I got my 60-watt laser, my 5-OMD 5 Then I got my 10-watt diode, which is what I'm using right now. What we're seeing right now engraving is my 10-watt diode. And then I have a tabletop CNC, and I have a 3D printer. And yeah, so most of the time you'll see me when I'm doing stuff, I'm just doing it with literally just my 10-watt diode and my 60-watt fiber. Even though I have 18 years of CNC machining experience, I wrote the program, I made the models, I even made the blueprints because I was making fixtures and doing prototypes, so I did it every stage of machining, from making the blueprint to making the 3D model from my own blueprint to setting up the machine, putting all the tools in, all the offsets and everything like that, and setting it up to be milled, to even milling it myself sometimes. Usually, one of the operators, the machine operators, will just jump in. I show him how to run it, and he jumps in. But some of the jobs were really delicate jobs for aircrafts and guns and stuff like that, and so then I just ran those myself. But either way, my point was I got those tabletop CNC, and you never even see me use it because it's just so hard to try to get really good results and get a lot of experience with too many different types of machines at once. So again, the idea of this piece is you'll probably want to do it with a thin piece of wood. Oh great, now someone can be mowing grass or something. Either way, you want to do it with a thin piece of wood that you can use for a lid. Sorry about that, I had to turn the sound down for a while. The trash company was going by. Let me see what my writing here. I had one for a while and ended up selling it, not trying to it was, okay, it's like a nice little tabletop one. I'm using a Echo, or whatever. I think, I don't even know what the table size is on that thing. It's probably like 40 by 40 or something. That sounds about right. Like 40 inch by 40 inch, something like that. No, maybe not. No, maybe actually 24 inch by 24 inch actually. Okay. Neighbors here are shelling snow. Oh, shoveling snow, maybe? Yeah, there's no snow here in Florida, I guarantee you that. It looks like we are getting close to being done with the first pass. So what I did was my diode laser just set, I have a home position for it. So all I do is when this finishes, it'll go back to original, it'll go back to the starting point, or not, it'll go back to home. Then I can cycle it back to the starting point right where it was at before, and then just start engraving again right over top of this to do the grayscale pass. If your settings on your diode, this is very important, if your settings on your diode for your basically your GO movements, your quick movements. If it's set too high and you don't have your wheels and belts set perfectly, it'll skip over. It'll move. Your center point, your origin point for the engraving won't be identical to what it was before. So you have to be super careful to check your settings to make sure that when you go to origin and when you home and when you start the engraving, that it doesn't rip across the diode table too quickly and cause a skip in the belt, which would relocate your starting point. It's super important if you ever do a 2-pass, that just in general it's super important because you want it to be, you want to be able to know that it's going to the exact identical spot, not even a 0.1 millimeter off or whatever. You want it to go back to the precise location that you had it at before, that you set your home position for, or your starting position, your origin. Let's say we just got a couple more minutes. Yep, it's showing 98%, and I already have the other design for doing the grayscale ready, so we're just going to jump right into that. Yeah, I can tell it's looking very nice. I'm sure it's hard to see the detail, but it is looking good. I'm looking forward to trying this on red cedar. My diode is a Raleigh laser mounted 2 SW. It's pretty tight and it works great. I use that with those 2 ray upload. Should not have hit that. I thought I used it too. I didn't want to cut at 300 watt. It's switchable. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, that sounds really neat. Okay, give me 1 second and we'll get going. Hopefully that didn't move anything. Barely wood that I have my camera sitting on. I think we're okay. Just to make sure, I'm going to move it back out and origin it out again. In the time being, let me open up the grayscale. Alright. I'm also going to load the grayscale on the screen. That way you can see the difference, yeah, so see, that's how crazy different the grayscale is going to look, with just the details and a little bit of shading. This again. Sorry if you hear my dogs in the background and further noise. I'm going to try to keep muting it out as it happens, but okay, so going to go back to my settings here. So I'm actually gonna keep this at a speed of 60. I'm gonna turn it up to let's see, 17% max power. I'm gonna switch it to grayscale mode and a minimum of 2.5% power. 282 is the DPI that I'm using, and it's 1 pass, so that's everything. So I'm going to go to origin. And hopefully nothing moved when I accidentally hit the piece of wood, because then we'll be screwed. But I think hopefully everything's okay. Let's see if I can get it. Okay, let's do this. It looks like nothing moved at all. I'm pretty sure, so we should be fine. It does look like I might need a grip here. Let's see what I can get. It's going to be the best resolution possible. Frustrating. Is this design on my Patreon? Is it on my Patreon? No, it will be though. As soon as this finishes, it'll be on my Patreon. You have the holiday stuff on your Patreon yet? And another question was, the gift image, do you include the grayscale as well? Yes, all of this is going to be on Patreon. I have a whole bunch of gift lids that you can use to engrave. I'm going to be putting it all on Patreon as soon as this finishes. Everything is about to be on Patreon. And I have, what was I going to say? Yeah, I have quite a bit of different stuff that's going to be going up. I wanted to make sure I got this wood video done as well. Oh good, thank you very much, Russell. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. I'm still kind of playing with that part of it. I still got some video editing to learn, but I purposely kind of avoid that. I'm like, I got way too many other things I'm working on. I don't want to work on trying to get better at video editing, dang it. So I'm taking it very slow steps. But yeah, you guys are about to see a bunch of really cool stuff. The grayscale versions of these will be with it, so that you can try the 2-pass method yourself. I'll probably, I don't know how many of them will have the 2-pass method, because it does take, this took me about, I would say, 2 hours this morning to get this design ready, and then to make the grayscale pass version of this design and everything, and get everything set up perfectly. It took me about 2 hours, so I probably won't have a grayscale version of all of them, but definitely some of them. Right now, I only have the grayscale version, but I will, as soon as I get this done, I'll make the grayscale version. It's a couple more. Oh, good. Oh, the only way you're able to hear me is with headphones on. I hope it's still going to be okay either way, but at least that's working. I know I'm picking up all kinds of random noise because right now I'm using my camera mic. So, and obviously the camera mic is not the best game plan. I have a headset in my room and it would be much better to use that, but yeah, you know, sometimes I don't think. Yeah, I figured it would. Oh no. Okay, next time I will definitely be using my headset and it should be able to muffle out random background interference a lot better than a webcam can. So the speed I'm using right now is 60 millimeters a second, which is, what is that? That's going to be, let me do the math, 3,000, no, is it 3,600? 6 times 6, I guess it is. I guess so if I'm running it at 60, I get millimeters a second, I guess that's probably 3,600 millimeters a minute. My stuff is just set for a second because yeah, I do a lot of fiber work, so, and then it keeps switching it, and I have to switch it back every time. It's just annoying. So I just convert it into seconds whenever I'm doing engravings. Oh, that's good. Headset, you can keep the volume lower and not pick up as much of the noise from the machine. That's really good. Yep, low and slow. I never go over 60. So I never go over about, 3,000, 4,000 by the very, very most. Low and slow always, especially for wood. There is some cases where you can speed up a little bit better. If it's something like aluminum painted black, you're not going to have very much overburn no matter what you do. So you can adjust the speed accordingly and get higher speeds if your diode is dialed in really good or if you're using a fiber. But generally speaking, especially for wood, low and slow always. Oh yeah, you can see that some of that detail coming in to play and some of that shading coming in now. It almost looks like a completely different image, but it's the same thing. It's just going to have this extra layer of detail and depth that it'll give it by using this grayscale method. It really helps, in my opinion, it really helps show the depth, but it's very difficult to dial in perfectly when you're trying to design the grayscale portion of it, because if you're just a little bit off, you'll overburn the whole thing. And the entire piece will be way darker. It might still look pretty decent, but it'll definitely be a lot darker than what you intended it to be if it's not done just right. Here, watch, I can make this bigger for a second to show you guys. Ooh, looks like it really good. You can see just a little bit of shading, probably. You can see just a little bit of shading right around the really dark black areas, and the rest is white. It shades all the way to white. You don't want hardly, it's going to need to be mostly white, Sorry, man, I didn't realize my name was different. This is Matt. Oh, okay. Hey, Matt. I run an S1 at 12 power, 95 speed. Help for my engraving and time along with setting correct PGI for making sure. Oh, good. I'm glad I was able to help with that. Damn, that's pretty high speed still, 95. Woo! But, every machine is different, and some of the newer diodes that run on, just these rails or whatever, that can be a lot more consistent.
you can run them faster, but you still, no matter what, when it comes to wood, you can't run it very fast because it'll overburn. It'll burn into the pixel next to it, and it's not a good idea. It's a very, very bad idea. Finding out what your max speed to get good quality is very important with each of the lasers. Like the OLM3, this laser module that comes with the OLM3, I can't remember the dot size, but when you do the math on it, it comes out to 508 dpi. You can hit 508 dpi with it. So that's considerably different than some other diodes that are, a lot of diodes are meant for 318 dpi, like that's the max. That's what they're supposed to run at. And actually, like I said, that's the max. In reality, you don't ever want to run the max DPI. If you should be able to get 318 DPI with your laser, you should be running at 254. Because if you run it at max, that's assuming that there's not going to be any overburn. And wood always has a dot and then a burn radius around the dot. So you're always going to be overburning if you're running it at the highest DPI. Yeah, holy crap, yeah. Matt, I just said something about the names, and I was Paul different Matt. I thought that was Paul. I was pretty sure. I'm glad you guys say your names because I get mixed up with whose name is who. Everybody's got different names on the YouTubes. So I'm glad people are coming to take a look and see what's going on. And I can't wait to get this one off of the diode and get a high resolution picture so you guys can really see what we're looking at because this is very nice. Oh yeah, this is dead on money right here. Everything coming out really, really, really nice. The shading, everything is beautiful. And again, that's just that extra level, that second pass of the grayscale that's making it turn into something that actually has some contrast to it. It's hard to really realize how little contrast you're getting in your work without having a grayscale pass to darken up the details. It really takes it to the next level. I was replicants, I was a fish breeder at one point, just haven't changed the name. Really breed. Well, I mean, like, that just goes with it now. Like, now you just bully breed laser, you know? You gotta keep that in there somehow. I'm out at Buffalo about using home situation. We're just gonna wait for painting year round. Yeah, that's gonna be really awesome. I love doing stuff like that. The reason why I don't do a lot more artistic type stuff is because I'm scared that people don't know me, and I'll never be able to sell my stuff, and I have, you know, I'm not retired yet. I am, but I'm not. And the less money I make right now, doing my engraving and stuff like that, I have to make it up by doing CNC programs and stuff like that at the old shop I used to work at to make up the money difference. And I want to be, my goal is to be in a spot where I can make stuff that's nice enough that people like and enjoy and like to watch what I'm doing and everything on my Patreon and make enough money that way so that I don't need to fill in with machining and stuff like that. And then maybe I could eventually start painting and stuff like things like that. It's rough. I was too worried to wait till I retired because I didn't even know if I would ever be able to retire. The machine shop I was in, the guy was just gonna, it was never gonna happen. He just made a lot of promises. and then I would never in my life ever end up doing something that I really cared about. So I just had to take the chance eventually and part ways, which I'm still on good terms with, and that's why I can help write programs at the old machine shop I used to work at, or I go in there to make coins, brass coins. Canvases, especially if you can catch it, Oh, Paul said, awesome, I am in Detroit, Michigan. Sorry, can't really read from here. Area would be Florida, okay. My wife would move away from the kids. Yep, we have Paul, we have the same situation here. With my wife, Lisa, she has a lot of family here in Florida. So, although I'm from a military and I lived all over growing up, she's always been living in Florida, and same thing with her family. So now she's really worried about moving anywhere else. Because she's so used to being with her huge family, all of her cousins and relatives and mom and dad, everybody is here in Florida in the same area. Yeah, which is a bummer for me because I love moving. I love, not necessarily moving, but I more enjoy a little bit of the quieter, outdoorsy type areas rather than living close to the action. I don't really like that, especially Florida, because Florida, a lot of people here aren't from Florida and they don't care about Florida. You know, they just walk down the road and throw trash on the road. It's not where they're from, so they don't respect the area or anything. They don't really care that much. They just happen to be living here for the time being, or because they retire, or whatever, but they're not from here, so they don't care that much. Yeah, you're lucky, Russell. Nothing to tie you down. I mean, there's good sides and there's bad sides. I love my family, but oh man, I definitely do wish you could go ahead and move out of Florida at some point here. But between the hurricanes and everything else, Florida's not always the greatest place that it's made to be. I would live in a tent if it was quiet versus these apartments. Yeah. We lived in apartments most of the time in Florida, and when I lived young as well, obviously, when I was in the military, we always lived in apartments. My end goal would just be able to buy a piece of land, something like 2 to 4 acres, out in the middle of nowhere, where I could just build a house for my family, and then hopefully be able to build a couple houses for our parents, so that they can live really close to us as they're getting older, so that we don't have to worry about having to put them in a home or anything like that. It's difficult these days to be able to work and take care of your parents when they get older. So yeah, that my end goal would be buy a piece of property somewhere that's not very expensive, in an area that's not very expensive, and just kind of fix it up and put a couple houses on it. I don't care. We could just start a commune. You guys could build a house there too. Wow. I gotta make some real money before I can build you guys houses. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'll put your guys' $10 a month or whatever Patreon level you're at. I'll put that aside so it'll save up for you till the house is ready. Oh no, my phone. Oh, I'm getting a call. 1 second, guys. Yellow. Turn on my volume back. Alright, sorry about that, guys. I had a phone call that I had to take. Let me see if I can turn the sound up a little bit more. I don't know if you guys can hear me okay or not. But let me see. Wow, the grayscale pass added so much detail. I ran the two-part method before, but didn't really understand how it made a difference, but now I do. Yeah, so I will show. I'm still trying to, there's no perfecting the grayscale pass. when you're designing the grayscale pass. Like every image is different, and but I'm still trying to get to a point where I feel like they're going to come out good, at least reasonably good every single time, and I'm just about there. Of course, like I said, there's art involved, and it's based on my eyes and what I do. So it's always going to be it's never going to be the most perfect thing that you'll ever see, but it does help a lot. It really does help a lot. That's why I wanted to make a couple videos, try to explain it and show everybody, because a lot of people are like, oh, that's pointless, that doesn't do anything, and that's simply not true. It's just that it just takes some work to get it to work right. But with having both of these images, you'll be able to do this yourself, no problem. And just so you know, let me type in the settings that I use for the dither pass, and I'll type in the settings for the grayscale pass so that you can see everything. I'll type that in right now. Okay, so we get 60. To dither it, okay, right there's information for the dither pass. And then the grayscale pass is, this time I used this thing before, depending on how much shading I'm trying to do and different things. Sometimes I slow down the speed to 40, but this time, and I think in the future, I'm going to keep it just like this. Grayscale can be speed of 60, and I use 18 power, but actually no, that was 2.5 through 18 power. Okay, so right there, again, speed, I'm talking about millimeters a second, so, yeah, that's whatever, 3,600 millimeters a minute, unless I'm thinking wrong. Am I brain farting when I'm going 60 second, 6 times 6, yeah, no, yeah, 3,600, yeah. That's the very highest I go. I don't go over 60 speed. Oh, okay, good, yeah. Some people don't, some people do. It just depends on, I think a lot of it depends on whether you're using a fiber or not. Oh, good, that's correct. Yeah, thanks. Thank you. I was worried that I had brain farting. I'm usually good at math, and for some reason I was just drawing a blank in my head just a little bit. Yeah, so this is almost done, man. It's hard to actually even see the rich grayscaling in it at this angle, plus at this low resolution. So I can't wait for this to finish and cut it out and show you guys what it looks like in HD. And then as soon as I get this video done, as soon as it's done, I cut this out and I blow it off, because I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to sand this. I'm not going to do anything at all to this at this point. I already sanded it beforehand. So I'm just going to cut this out and I'm going to blow it off. That's it. I'll probably use my wheel to put like a little bit of a chamfer on the corners. to kind of give it more of like a present look to it, with like a little bit of a radius corners on the edges. But besides that, I'm not actually going to edit. I'm not going to sand this. I'm not going to put any type of oils on it. I'm not going to do anything at all. Depending on the wood and if it's staying inside or outside is whether or not you'll need to use some oils or some type of something to keep the wood from tarnishing over time, having problems over time. But that's also one of the reasons why I like a red cedar, because cedar wood tends to work great in most conditions, like outside and stuff like that. I think they most of the time the wood that they use with houses, like building houses and stuff, is cedar because of that reason. It stays good. I'm not a wood connoisseur, and I'm not a house building guy, I'm none of those things, but based on information that I've found out and just my own personal experience, cedar stays really nice for a really long time. Oh yeah, this is looking real nice. Looks like it has some really sweet depth and a lot of rich, it has a lot of really nice depth and a lot of rich grayscale to it, so this is going to be really nice. And we're just about finished. I'd say it might have another 2 minutes maybe. Once the video's over, I'll show it to you as is really quick on the camera, and then I'm going to go ahead and cut the live stream off, and I'm going to cut the wood and chamfer the corners, and blow everything off. All I'm going to do is just use my air. I have a small little air pressure, my brain. Either way, I got air, so I'm just gonna use my hose and just hose it off with my air, and that's gonna be it. I'm not touching it with any sandpaper or anything like that. And then I'll post it on Patreon with this design right away, and then all the rest of the designs will be coming right afterwards. I'm just finishing up some of the details on some of them, and doing a couple little edits to make them look like they have a little bit more depth, and doing a couple little things to some of them, along with adding a grayscale, second 2-pass grayscale for them as well. I'll also post the settings on Patreon when I make this post, just for the Patreon members. Yeah, chamfer? Yeah, I said chamfer. I'm just going to chamfer it. I got a wheel, and one side soft Scotch-Brite for when I do my metal work, any type of the brass stuff I do or anything like that. I'll hit it on the wheel on the soft Scotch-Brite side, and then I got a hard side, I can't remember, whatever it is. It's just a hard, much harder material on the other side, and so I'll use that to chamfer the edges of the wood, just to kind of give it a little bit more of like a package present look to it or whatever. Oh, we're done. Okay, so let me show you it first. One sec. Chamfer? You never heard the word chamfer? Oh, it's a machining term. It's just to put like a 45-degree edge break.
It doesn't have to be 45 degrees, but just like a angled edge break to the sides. That's all it is. Okay, so let me see if I can get a better shot. Okay, literally all I did was blow it off. So we're just going to take a look real quick. Let me see if I can zoom out on this. It's still really crappy quality. I don't like how the look of it here, but oh, I know why. You can see it a little bit better now, yes? But it's out. The light from outside is kind of ruining the effect. Okay, so let me go clean this, or not clean this, but cut this and chamfer the edges and blow it off. And then I'm going to post a picture and I'm going to get the upload going on Patreon. Thank you guys so much for showing up, and the videos are going to continue to get better. I promise you. Thank you very much. Alright, talk to you guys soon.